Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the morning market review. Right. We have quite a good number of persons, and hope the rain is not what is stopping everyone from joining this session this morning. Right. Would start shortly. I think 47 persons. Okay, 43, about 43 persons. Okay, let's just give a few minutes, just about 2 minutes, and let's see if the number improves. Right. Let's give a few minutes for the number to improve before we proceed. I believe it's raining in all of Lagos today, right? I don't know if it's raining in Port Harcourt or every other state, but I know it's definitely raining in Lagos. Here in Ikeja, it's flooded though. All right. Hopefully we have a very stable network because we all know this our country. When there is rain and network are very, very bad enemies. Okay, I'm waiting for my MT5 to come up and it's up. Okay, so let's proceed. So first thing we're going to be looking at is our forest factory to determine the major fundamentals we have for the day. And that to a large extent should also, oh, someone says it's raining in Ibadan. All right, I think the rain is actually due because that heat wave was something else. So it was running people crazy. It's a good thing. At least today was for the first time in a long time. The night was actually very cool, right? We thank God. So let's quickly dive down to our first factory to see fundamentals we have for the day, and of course that should guide the trades we are going to be looking at. Okay, I believe you can all see my screen, right? I believe you can all see my screen. Okay. All right. Okay, so for today we have a couple of high impact and medium impact news. We have news on the euro. Please, as you're joining in, kindly just mute yourself so you don't distract the class. Let me mute everyone so every other person can follow. So today we have a lot of high impact news. We have 9:15. Let's see if we could meet up with the 9:15 trading session on the euro. We have a couple of high impact news on the euro. By 9:15, we have the French flash manufacturing PMI. We have the French flash manufacturing service PMI. That's a flash service PMI and manufacturing PMI for the Eurozone. We have for the Eurozone by 9:30, we also have the German manufacturing PMI. And then we have the German flash service PMI. Then for 10 a.m., we have the flash manufacturing PMI. We also have the flash service PMI. That's by 10 a.m. So for this morning, you could just know that euro is actually going to have a whole lot of volatility. There's going to be a whole lot of busy movement on the euro this morning. Then up until 10:30, we now have high impact news, two high impact news coming up on the GBP, which is also their flash manufacturing PMI and their flash service PMI. So today is more like PMI day, right? Today is more like a PMI day, right? So after that we have for card we have core retail sales and we have retail sales, and then for the USD we have unemployment claims, right? Unemployment claims is also one of those news that we look out for, especially for those that trade majorly on US indices and the US currency. So we are looking at the unemployment claims to give us a good outlook of what the employment data is in the US. And then after that, for the US, we also have their flash PMI coming out by 3:45. We have their flash service PMI, their flash manufacturing PMI 3:45. Also, their flash service PMI coming out by 3:45. And then we have existing home sales. We have existing home sales. This is more of home data, right? Average cost of housing in the US. Then we have NZD. We have their retail sales, their quarterly retail sales coming out by 10:45 p.m. So, and that crowns up all the high and medium impact news. I usually do my filter. I use my filter here to just filter for high and medium impact news. I'm not really concerned about the low impact news and the no impact news. So these are just what I look out for majorly. So that means so we're going to be looking at trades majorly from the Eurozone. We would also be looking at trade from the GBP. We'll consider some card trades. We'll also consider some USD trades, right? So let's quickly dive into it. Let's go to the charts. Okay, so before we dive into the chart, let's look at currency strength meter. Before we dive into the charts, let's quickly look at currency strength meter. So I use the currency strength meter from Baby Pips marketmilk.babypips.com/currency dash strength meter. Right. So I use I use my my currency strength meter from Baby Pips. So currently you could see that NZD is currently the strongest instrument. We have NZD as the strongest instrument, then followed by the AUD, then we have the CAD, we have CHF next, then we have Euro, we have GBP, we have JPY, and then the USD being the weakest instrument of the pair, right? We have this. So definitely you would see instrument like NZD, USD, of course, it will be pushing up at this point in time. AUD, USD would also be pushing up. CAD USD should also be pushing up. USD CHF should also be pushing down at the moment. So, of course, the goal when it comes to forex trading is taking a good trade. The goal to taking a good trade when it comes to to currency trading is buying the strong currency and selling off the weak currency. Buying the strong currency and selling off the weak currency. Please permit. Okay, so let's also look at for this currency strength meter. Let me just give you one or two little secrets. Aside the currency strength meter, you also have heat map for each currency. I would like you to explore your markets milk, right? It's called market milk for a reason. It helps you milk the market quite well. So you could see the strength of each of this currency and their heat map. You know when you watch a football match, they tell you heat map of each player as how versatile the player is on the pitch. So this gives you the heat map of each currency. So if you're looking at it on a 15 minutes time frame, AUD is very strong, on a 1 hour very strong, on a 4 hours is very strong, daily is faintly strong, on a weekly is very strong, on a monthly is faintly strong, and on a yearly time frame it's a little weak, right? So you could use this to also get better information as to what each currency is doing, and that would also influence your decision in the market, right? So that's one thing I want to show you. Then another secret is you could also use it for other categories of instruments like indices, right? So I could use this for I could get my heat map for indices. I have Australia 200. We really don't trade Australia 200 so very much, but it's one market I also want to start looking into, right? It's a very volatile market, and it's also as expensive as the likes of US 100 and US 2000. So just like we trade UK 100, I know a lot of us must have taken trade on UK 100, and you can attest to the fact that it's a very profitable instrument, a very profitable instrument. So just like we trade UK 100, I'll start looking more into Australia 100, and I advise those that have the capacity, right? So if you have good capital in your trading account, I advise you start looking into AUS 200, also CHN 50, that's the Chinese stock also. Right, so those two, and of course, also France 40 is also another good stock you could also look into, another good indices rather that you should look into. Those 40 top performing companies in France is also something you should also look into. It's also a very profitable. Of course, we all trade the German 30, which is now D40. German 30 is now D40. We all trade that. So this will give you a good idea as to how strong each of these currency pairs are, or how weak each of the how strong each of these indices are, or how weak each of these indices are. Right. Then we have you could check your of course, you could check your indices strength, just like you had your currency strength. So you could see that Hong Kong 33, that's the top 33 performing stocks in Hong Kong, is currently the strongest indices you could find out there. Then we have Japan. We have NAS, that's a US 100. We have China 50, US 2000 following next. S&P 500, that's US 500, right? We have US 30. We have D40. We have UK 100. US 200. We have ESP. This is Spanish. This is ESP is Spanish stocks, right? ESP is a Spanish stock. This is the French stock. I've never traded this before, but I'll look into this to find out what this is. Right? I've never really traded this stock before. Well, for the others, I think I've had a taste of each of these indices, and they quite do well in as much as they are indices. But of course, bear it in mind that if you're going to be trading indices, you should have good capital in your trading account, right? If you're going to be trading indices, you should have good capital in your trading account. So where to get this heat map is marketmilk.babypips.com. I'm going to drop it on your on the chat session so you could check it out when you need to, right? I'm just going to drop it here. So you could check it out when you need to. So I dropped it in the chat session. So you could bookmark it, save it somewhere, and it would help your trading a great lot. It comes with a lot, right? It gives you your market mover. Under market mover, you could see the top gainers and then the top losers, right? Same thing for currency. So you could decide which category of instruments you want to trade on. If you're trading on commodities, it also gives you the market snapshots, right? Market snapshot gives you the strength of each of the currency paired against others. So if you're looking at commodity, you can see that gold is currently the strongest commodity, followed by copper, followed by soya. Okay, XAG USD, silver rather. So silver is currently the highest, followed by copper, followed by soybeans, soybeans, followed by okay, so it's just changed because this is in real time. So of course you see it's move. Soybeans was actually at the top, but it has moved down. UK oil, which is Brent oil, is here. US oil is weaker. Then we have wheat, we have corn, and then we have natural gas, right? We have natural gas. So this is also in real time, and you could decide what time frame you want to look at it. If you are a position trader and you want to take your trade on a long term, you could do your analysis on a weekly time frame to see how strong they are on a weekly time frame, and then you go to the chart, pick your entry, and then you could place your trade, and then your stop loss, allow your trade to run for a long time. That's if you're a position trader. So there's a lot that can actually come out of this if you're able to milk the market with your market milk, right? It sounds cheesy, but that's how it is. Milk the market with market milk. Right? I think I should have I'm going to have a session on this, how to use currency strength meter and how to use market milk. Right. I think I should have a session on that. And of course, the flyers will be sent across when that class will be coming up. Right. So let's not waste much of our time. We've spent so much time on this already. Let's go to the chart. Let's quickly go to the chart. First, we're going to be treating the dollar index. Of course, the dollar index gives you an outlook as to what the dollar is doing, and to a large extent, that will give you a clear direction as to what most indices will be doing and what the dollar at large is actually doing against other currency pair. So if you're looking at it on a daily time frame, you can see that the dollar index has actually been gaining, right? Right from late December. From 21st of December here, we had dollar index actually gain, right? But in recent time, we've been seeing major retracement on the dollar, right? We've been seeing major retracement on the dollar. And of course, if you've been following up on fundamentals, there've been talk of increasing further cut on interest rate, which has not really been successful because they promised they were going to cut interest rate and they kept pushing it. So it's more like a teaser at this point, just like, okay, come and take bread. And then all of a sudden, when it's time for you to get the bread, they hide it. So I think the Fed has finally come to a conclusion that they are going to push the cut in interest rate up until June. So we might not see any interest rate cut till June. And of course, the dollar has not been doing so well. The dollar has not been doing so well. Please turn off your cam, please. It's very distracting. Please turn off your cam. So we have okay, so the dollar has not been doing so well of recent, and of course, if you check your chart, if you check it on a daily time frame, what we are having here is somewhat like a retracement, not somewhat like a retracement, it's a retracement because price actually bounced off this resistance here and has been currently going down. So I've been able to track price with my trend line following the trend, right? So this has been an uptrend, but this retracement from this resistance point back to this my trend line now would indicate that should price break below this trend line, what we should be getting is a further sell, right? What we should be getting is a further sell. So should price break below this trend line, then most likely we should see the dollar continue to slide. So that being said, let's go to our daily time frame to get entries for the day. So um so what I'm going to actually be looking out for is a further sell on the dollar, because though we have news coming out on the dollar for today, right? Though we have news coming out for the dollar for today, but I don't expect that. I don't expect us to see any good volatility on the dollar up until when the news on the dollar will be coming out later in the day, right? Up until when the news on the dollar will be coming up later in the day, and we have quite a couple of news coming out on other instruments, right? So since USD IDX is paired, that since the dollar on USD IDX is paired against a basket of other currency, there is every possibility that the IDX would actually gain more strength against the dollar, depending on what the news comes out as later in the day. So if at all I'm going to be taking a trade, of course, you see price is currently comfortably sitting on a support point, which is even most likely looking like it has broken that support, right? If you're looking at it on the 1 hour, you can see that price is looking like it's most likely going to break the support. So to be on a safe side, I still will be pitching for a further sell on the USD IDX. I still will be pushing for a further sell on the USD IDX. Okay. All right. So since I'm looking out for a further sell, I wouldn't want to jump in for a sell right away. I want price to comfortably break below this point, right? I want price to comfortably break below this point, and I'm going to go to a higher time frame, a 4 hour time frame. I'm looking for the previous low. Okay, perfect. So you could see that from the 30th of June, we've had a several rejection around this point, yeah, which was serving as a resistance for price, right, on a 4 hour time frame. If you're on a 1 hour time frame, okay, you could see that, but you will need to scroll all the way backward to see that. But on a 4 hour time frame, it's quite clear that a price has actually tested this current point before. It used to be a resistance for price that tested there 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It has tested there 3 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come below that point at least. So should price break below this point, then definitely we're going to see a sell, right? So I'll be going in for my sell at price level. So I'll be going in for my sell at price level 103.463, 103.463, 103.463. 103.463. I'm going for my sell at around that point. Then also I have to go back to my 1 hour time frame, my 4 hours time frame rather, to get my take profit point. So my next notable support is somewhere around here, where price was rejected on the 30th of January, somewhere around here, right? So I wouldn't put my take profit on that point. I just come above that point a little bit and then go back to my 1 hour time frame. So I have my take profit at around 103.282. 103.282. I have my take profit at around that point, right? So that's my my preference for a buy. Then alternatively for a sell, that's my preference for a sell rather. That's my preference for a sell. Then alternatively for a buy, right? Alternatively for a buy, but most likely you're going to be seeing a buy if the news comes out positive for the dollar, and that will be later in the day. I don't expect a price to actually buy at this point in time, right? Except if price is rejected from this resistance point, right? Except if price is rejected from this resistance point. And from everything here, you could see your three dark rows, which is all usually which usually used to signify a trend continuation, right? It usually signifies a trend continuation. So most likely, if price just breaks below here, then you pick up a sell at this point and down to this point. Then alternatively, going for a buy above my resistance point here, right? Let's see if that's what. Let's go to a 30 minutes time frame to see if we could get a closer entry. Okay. So alternative for a buy on a 30 minutes time frame, you could put your pending order for buy at a price level 103.889, 103.889, and then have your take profits. You could see several rejections around this point. So you could have your take profit at price level 104.061. 104.061. Have your take profits around that point. So that's my this thing for USD IDX. Those are my entries for USD IDX. Then for the GBP USD. So for GBP USD, you can see currently the price is on a resistance point. This is the second time that price is actually getting to this point. This is the second time price actually getting to this point. And before that, if you look closely, there is another resistance at the top here, right? So I'm expecting that. Let's check. Do we have news on the GBP? I think we had news on the GBP. Let's go back to our Forex Factory to confirm that. So yes, we have news coming up on the GBP by 10:30, right? We have news coming up on the GBP by 10:30. So most times, some person will ask, okay, why are you having two entries? Why are you having two entries? Because most times when you have a whole lot of fundamentals coming out like that, it's actually harder for you to determine market direction based on just technical analysis, right? You also need to consider the news because in truth, you could have all your technical analysis and then the news comes out against you or against the position you've taken, and then all of a sudden price is going in huge loss for you. So whenever there is a lot of fundamentals coming out today, it's very good for you to try and cover both sides. Try and cover both the buy side and the sell side. So should the news spin the direction against you, or should you or whatsoever way the news actually spins the market to, you know that you're still on the benefiting side, right? So if you do your entries right, regardless of what the news plays out, you're still going to make money from the market. So technically, if there was no news coming out, I would have gone in for a sell limit right around this point, expecting that once price hits this resistance, price should start coming down, right? That's if there is no news, technically, right? That would have been the best thing to do, right? That would have been the best thing to do. But now that I have a news coming out, I need to consider that news because there's every possibility the news comes out and it still gives strength to the GBP and it gives it enough strength to break above that resistance. So the resistance you were expecting that was going to hold price is no longer strong enough to hold price because of volatility coming up around that time. So what I would do at this point is to set pending orders, most likely pending orders. I'm going to set the pending order above my resistance point. So this was my resistance point, and watch how I moved my entry above that resistance. So I want it to break above the resistance point first, comfortably break above that resistance point first, before picking my entry, right? So you get the trick. Let it break above my resistance point first before picking my entry. So I'm going to go for my entry at price level 1.26945. 1.26945. I'll go for my entry around that point, right? 1.26945. Right. So since I have my entry, I'm looking for my take profit point. So my take profit is supposed to be before the next resistance, right? My take profit is supposed to be before the next resistance. It's supposed to be before the next resistance. So what do? I go to you say I can't find the next resistance and I don't want to start scrolling backward and backward and backward. Right, it will be confusing. So what I does need to do is to go to a higher time frame. If I go to a 4 hour time frame, you could clearly see the next resistance for price. So you could see my next resistance is somewhere around here, right? This was another place where price was rejected. On the 19th of January, we had resistance there. On the 24th of January, we had resistance there. Right. We also had another resistance there on the 31st of January, right? So I wouldn't want to put my take profit on the resistance. So I bring it a little bit lower. I bring it a little bit lower, so it should be in between. So I have my take profit at price level 1.27276. 1.27276. 1.27276. So should the news push price into a buy and it is comfortably able to break my, because when it comes to taking a position in market, it has to fulfill certain conditions, right? All strategies have certain conditions that price must fulfill before you execute that trade. So the condition here now is, should it go in for a buy, let it break above my resistance point before picking my buy and then taking me all the way to my take profits, right? So, but if you have good, this is how many pip, this is how many pip for my buy. This is roughly around 34 pip for my buy, right? And then of course spread should be around 2 pip. Right, so that's minus 34 minus 2. So you still have about 32 pips. Right, so if you're a currency trader and you don't have a lot of money and you still use, let's say, 0.01 on US on GBP USD, that should be making you roughly around, let's say, 400-500 naira per pip movement times 32. That's still a good amount of money, right? So if you're doing that and you have 32 pip, or so let's say 32 pip times 500 naira per pip movement, that should give you about 16,000 naira, and that's enough to buy Jazzy Burger, right? But if you have good money in your trading account and you're able to do probably a standard lot, if you're able to do probably a standard lot, that should be giving you roughly around 5,000 naira per pip movement. Okay, so if you're making 500 naira on 0.01, that should give you 50,000 naira, sorry, per pip movement on a standard lot. So it will give you 5,000 naira on a mini lot. So if you do that times 36, times 32 rather, that should give you about 1.2 million naira on this trade. For currency, it's a currency trade. A standard lot to give you roughly around 1.2 million naira should price go in your favor. Right, so you do the math yourself and you could see the endless possibility. Then for a sell, let's go back to a 1 hour time frame. For a sell, if I'm going to go in for a sell, of course, I want to go in for a sell below the support point. So the previous support was around here, right? The previous support was somewhere around here. So I go in for a sell at price level 1.2. This is on the 1 hour time frame. I go in for a sell at price level 1.26249. 1.26249, bless me. 1.26249. 1.26249. I'm going for a sell around that point and have my take profit at price level. So this is my support, and I just need to. So for my sell trade, you notice how small. Because I tell people, set your take profit based on the market structure, not based on the number of pips, right? So this is a better trade. So if I'm not going to take this trade like this, if I feel this is too small, though if you're looking at the sell trade, this is roughly around 13 pip. It's quite small if you're using a very small lot size, right? If you're using a very small lot size, it's quite small. But if you're using a reasonable amount of lot size, like let's say a standard lot, that should still make you a good amount of money. At least it should still make you roughly around almost close to about 300,000 to 400,000 on that trade, right? But if you're using a very small lot size, then you're going to be missing out on this ample opportunity, right? So this year is would be my sell entry. So I'd have my sell at 1.26249, have my take profit at 1.26113, have my take profit at 1.26113, 1.26113, right? So but if that entry is too small for you, if you feel the number of people is too small for you, then where I'd advise you put your pending order for a sell is below this support. So you could come below this support. Let me use green lines for that, so I don't contradict. So if you feel this entry is too small for you, then you have to wait till price break the next support. So yeah, I'm waiting for price to break this support, get to my take profits. But if you feel this zone is too small enough for you to trade with, then you can wait for price to break below this other support and then take your profit at the next one. But that's still very, very little. Let me see how many pips that will be. This still roughly around 13 pips too. So I think plus or minus, you'll still be getting 13 pip on a sell, on each of the sell. Depends on what you want to do. So it's best you just go for the first one and use very good lot size and you're out of the market, right? So the next instrument we're going to be looking at is Euro USD. Euro USD. I'm going as slow as possible so that everybody can follow along, right? So Euro USD. So for Euro USD, you could see because of the weakness of the dollar, you've been getting this massive push up on the euro, right? So in recent week, so please let me take out all this line. This is from previous analysis. Take out all this line. Okay, so you can see that the euro has actually been pushing up for a very long time, almost getting to a resistance point. Yeah, right, almost getting to a resistance point. Or it's even there, sir, because if you look at the 14th of June last year, around the 14th of June last year, you can see that price was, you can see my mouse here. So you can see that price was actually rejected here. That point was serving as a support for price, right? That this point was serving as a support for price for a while. So, and price is currently at that point and it's facing a little bit of a blockage at that point in time. So a buy move will be dependent on if price is successfully able to break above that point. That's what will now determine if it will continue. And of course, we have a lot of news coming out on the euro. So sentiment on the euro at this point is very strong. Sentiment on the euro at this point is very strong. So I'm going to be pitching a buy for euro USD. I'm going to be pushing a buy for Euro USD. So if you look at it on a 4-hour time frame, you can even see that price has even broken that resistance point. Safe price has even broken that resistance point. So where I would have actually decided we put our take our entry, price has gotten to that point. So in this scenario here, it will be best for us to use more or less an instant execution for Euro USD because we have news coming out, right? Sentiment is already pushing the market in favor of the euro. So I'm going to just give one direction for this market. So you could go in for an instant buy, have your take profit, going for an instant buy, have your take profit at price level 1.08790, 1.08790. Then of course bring your stop loss below your support. So you could leave your stop loss below the support. You can see price was rejected here severally. So you could have your stop loss at price level 1.08136, 1.08136, 1.08136. So you have your stop loss at that point. So an instant buy would be in order. Have your take profit before the resistance at price level 1.08790. Right. So the simple trick to this is, since you're expecting price, and don't forget this point here, this is on a 4-hour time frame though. Right, though this is on a 4-hour time frame, right? So, and because we couldn't see any obstruction on our 1-hour time frame, that's why we had to go to a 4-hour time frame. So of course, you know that this point here, where my take profit is a very, very strong resistance. Since that is only 4 hours, it's a very, very strong resistance. So the smartest thing to do would be you could actually further reduce your take profit and use a better lot size so that you don't stay too long in the market and you're still able to make something reasonable, right? I think that would be the smartest play. Use a better lot size so that within the shortest possible time, you've amassed a good amount of profit and you're out of the market. You don't necessarily need to wait for take profit, right? You don't necessarily need to wait for take profits, right? Okay. So the next instrument we'll be looking at is USD JPY, right? USD JPY. Of course, we saw on the currency strength meter that JPY has been stronger than the USD for a while, and of course, we're just coming out of the Asian zone, of the Asian trading zone. Yes, we are just coming out of the Asian trading zone, and that's called that was what brought about this very major sell-off, right? So I tell people, if you are a night crawler, for someone like me, I don't know how to trade at night, right? I sleep like a log of wood. But if you are a night owl, you could stay up at night and watch out for the Asian market. It's always a massive move. Look at let's play this out. Yesterday morning we had massive spike down. Look at this, was yesterday morning. Price opened up with a spike down. Yes, yeah, this morning also a massive spike down. Day before yesterday, we also had day before yesterday, we had massive spike in the market. So always, okay, look at this too. When the market opened, we had this spike down. And look at this also. When the market opened, we had a massive spike up. So you get a whole lot of volatility around that morning time, very early hours of the morning, when the Asian zones were open. So currently price has actually sold off, getting to this support zone, right? Price has sold off, getting to this support zone. So possibility of it breaking below this one, because I'm sure if I'm to apply my stochastic now, it would have gotten to my oversold region, right? Let's try, let's apply that. Where's my template? Oh, sorry, my indicator. So if I'm to apply my stochastic, you will see that price has gotten to my oversold region. Let's see, say. So I said that. So price has gotten to my oversold region. So still entering in for a sell at this point in time might be very tricky. So I might just want to wait for price to get rejected from this point. And since we have news on the USD, right? Since you have news on the USD, I expect that the JPY should still be strong up until price gets to this support zone. So if you want to risk it, you could go in for an instant sell. You could still go in for an instant sell because possibility that price will still drop to this point is still there, right? Possibility that price will still drop to this point is still there, since we don't have that news up until around, I think that news comes out around 3. Yes, around 3. But majorly what I'm going to be doing is to use a buy limit, right? Majorly what I'm going to be doing is to use a buy limit. I don't want to be caught in the crossfire because I don't know for how long the JPY is going to be strong, right? I don't want to bank on the fact that the JPY is strong now, right? Because like I said, the currency strength meter is in real time, right? It's in real time, and we are already out of the JPY trading session. So I don't think that strength will still continue. So what I just want to do is to have my buy limit. I could have my buy limit somewhere around here. I'd have my buy limit somewhere around here, right? So this is my support zone. Don't forget, this is my support zone, right? So I'm going to put my buy limit above my support. Above my support. The whole idea is for price to trigger my buy, get to the support, and then start pushing up, right? So I'm expecting a rejection, price sell to this point and get rejected from this point. Yeah. So I'm going to put in my buy limit at price level, have my buy limit at somewhere around here. Okay, so I have my buy limit at price level 149.991, 149.991, 149.991. I have my buy limit around that point, then have my stop loss below that support zone, have my stop loss here at price level 149.838. 149.838, 149.838. I have my stop loss around that point. And of course, the coast is clear. Once price triggers my buy, gets rejected and start pushing up, that's a very good buy. So that will be, if you calculate it, a buy from this point down to my resistance. That's roughly around 400. That's around 44 pip. That's on USD JPY. That's about 44 pip on USD JPY. USD JPY is quite more expensive than Euro USD, GBP USD, and the likes, right? So I think USD JPY is still one of the most expensive currency pair out there, right? So of course, because this my take profit is at a resistance point, I want to bring it down a little bit and have my take profit before the resistance at price level 150.352. 150.352. 150.352. Right. So that's where I'd have my my take profit. Right. So let's look at USD card. Let's look at USD card. So as expected, also USD card is also way stronger than the card rather. Card rather is way stronger than the USD at this point in time. And I think we have a couple of news coming out on card. So please let me confirm that. Okay, so yes, we have card news, though it's a medium impact news that's coming out on card. We have a medium impact news coming out on card. So that shouldn't give a lot of effects, right? That shouldn't give a whole lot of effect on card. But card has currently broken this resist. I wouldn't say it has broken it, but it has at least come below this support point here, right? This support point was supposed to hold price from coming below it, but it's unable to hold price. So what I'm also going to do for USD card, looking at the fact that we have the news coming out on dollar, we have the news coming out on dollar. I'd most likely expect that we use also a limit on this trade. I also expect we use a limit on this trade. So I'm going to start with the stop loss. Have my stop loss below this support. I'll have my stop loss below the support, and then put my limit halfway through. Put my limit halfway through. So there's a support here before the next major support. So I still expect that price should go all the way here and trigger my buy limit and then start going in favor of the USD, right? So I'd have my buy limit at price level 1.34, 1.34, 1.34, 1.34423, 1.34423, 1.34423. So I have my buy limit around there, and then have my stop loss at price level 1.34258, 1.34258, 1.34258. Then you could write that. So you could have two take profit points for your card, right? So your first take profit can be at 1.34597, 1.34597, 1.34597. So if you're going to be taking that will be how many pip? Okay, so this is like 17 pip, and then my stop loss is roughly around 16 pip. So this is a 1:1 trade. So you'll be making as much as you'll be losing on this trade. So, but if you're going to take this, most likely use a reasonable lot size, since it's a 1:1. So what I'd even advise is, if you're going to take this, you use a better lot size, so that, and you don't stay too long in the market. But if you're going to be staying long on this market, then you need to increase your take profit points, right? You need to increase your take profit point to the next resistance. So the next resistance is somewhere around there. So my second take profit will be at let me pull off all of this. Okay, so my second take profit will be somewhere around here at price level 1.34822, 1.34822, 1.34822, 1.34822. So if you are using this second take profit, you should have 1:2. So you should be making at least times 2 of what you are risking on this trade. You should be making times 2 of what you are risking on this trade. So I think that's a better take profit, because don't forget, the market is going to be moving solely on the effect of the news, right? Solely on the effect of the news. And most likely the dollar, if the dollar comes out strong, we should get price, hit your buy limit, get rejected, and start buying, right? You don't need to stay too long in the market. You don't need to wait to take profits. If you have good lot size, trade with better lot size, stay as little time as possible in the market, and you are out. You still make good amount of money. But if you don't have that, then you might need to wait for your capital, for your profit to gather a bit before you up out of the market, right? So we have the next instrument we're going to be looking out for is let's just treat majorly currency pair, and I won't be treating. Okay, let's see. Let's look at other currency pair. Let's look at other currency pair. Let's look at GBP card and the like. So how many have we treated so far? We've treated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instruments. Let's look at some other GBP pair. Let's look at some other GBP pair. Okay, so let's look at GBP card. Okay, so for GBP card, of course, for any instrument you're trading on, always show your axe line. Always show your axe line, your spread, so that you know how to do your proper calculation, right? Always show your axe line. So for GBP card, of course, we're expecting news on GBP, and that's expected that the GBP should gain a whole lot of strength against the card this morning, right? And you can see that GBP is actually bounced off. It formed a support point here, right? So respecting the previous supports that it made yesterday, right? So, and you could see this is a very, 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 very strong bullish engulfing candle. If it closes like this, that's your bullish engulfing, a good opportunity for you to also sell, right? A bullish engulfing, good opportunity for you to also sell, right? Buy rather. Sorry, I stand corrected. Buy, right? So your bullish engulfing, a good opportunity for you to buy, right? So but if you're looking closely, let me zoom in a little bit. Despite the fact that we have a bullish engulfing, we've had several dojis around your support zone, which is still clear indication for you to buy. You could see that GBP USD is also struggling at this minor resistance, though I don't think that should hold price for a long time, because once this candle closes, that would be a well-established bullish engulfing, and then you can go in for a buy. But to be very smart and to beat the market, what you need to do is now take a buy above that rejection point, right? You could take a buy above that rejection point. So once price is able to close above here, right, you could go in for your buy at looking at this. So majorly, you could see that there are some other little resistance point around there, but since there's fundamental coming out, I expect that those in-house resistance and those little in-house supports shouldn't be strong enough to hold price. So I'll just risk it by going in for a buy, right? If price breaks above price level 1.30611, right? I'll go in for my buy at a price level 1.70611. I'm going for a buy around that point, and then I stretch my take profits up until the before the next major resistance point, right? Not minding all this in-house resistance, but of course volatility should be able to move price way past all those points, right? So I'd have my take profits before the next major resistance at price level 1.70924. 1.70924. So when you say so people always ask which time frame is the best time frame to do my analysis. Well, it depends on what you are looking out for. Let's take, for example, I want to put my take profit and I can't see the next resistance on a 1 hour time frame. Of course, the next best place to look out for is my 4 hour time frame, right? If I come to a 1 hour time frame and I'm trying to get entry and it's not so clear, the next thing to do is to come to a smaller time frame to get good entries. You get? So in truth, if you're a day trader, you first start with your 1 hour. If you can't find what you're looking for on the 1 hour, right, you go to smaller time frame or you go to a higher time frame, depending on what you're looking out for, right? So have my take profit at this point, and then of course you could drop your stop loss below below the next support. So this is also a 1:1 trade, right? This is also a 1:1 trade, but it's definitely going to be a buy should this price close in this form, because I'm looking at the candlestick formation. But have your stop loss at price level 1.70255, 1.70255, 1.70255, 1.70255. So that's my entry for GBP card. That's my entry for GBP card. Right. So let's look at another instrument. Let's look at another GBP instrument. Let's look at GBP JPY. So that's going to be the 6th instrument. So GBP JPY, of course, like I said, we have a lot of news coming out on the GBP. We have a lot of news coming out on GBP. So it's expected that price should actually push up in favor of the GBP, right? So, but price is currently at the resistance point here. Price is currently at the resistance point, and this is, let me add my period separator. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I just added my period separator so we could be clear as to what day is which. So looking at it, price is currently at this resistance point. So because of the fundamentals we have coming out, I just want to take my buy if price is able to comfortably break above that point. So now looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, now I can't really see what where I need to enter clearly. Okay, I have where I need to enter clearly, but I can't really see a take profit point. So what do you think I do, right? Of course, I go to a higher time frame to get my take profit point. I can't go to a lower time frame because I still wouldn't get the next resistance if I go to a lower time frame. So what I need to do is to go to a higher time frame. So looking at it, even on a 4 hour time frame, I couldn't get the next resistance point. I need to start scrolling backward, which would take me a good amount of time. So all I just need to do is to go to a daily time frame. Still on a daily time frame, you could see that this is the highest point that price has gotten to in a long time. I go to a weekly time frame, still the same thing. I don't have but on a weekly time frame, I wouldn't have to scroll too far before I get the next resistance on a weekly time frame, right? So I wouldn't have to. So I could actually see majorly the next resistance still on the same page. I don't have to scroll too far. So you could see that the next major resistance is around here. The next major resistance is around here. And because it's a daily time frame, from year to year is actually a lot. Because it's a weekly time frame rather. So from year to year is actually a lot. So I might just want to use my intuition to bring it down, probably just like halfway, or maybe halfway through. So coming down to a coming down to a 1 hour time frame, that should now give me a good take profit point. So you get it now. So coming down to a daily time frame, that should now give me a good take profit point. But still on a daily time frame, you could see that this is actually still a very, very wild trade. That is a wide pip gap. So what's the possibility that price? You also need to calculate that. What's the possibility that price will travel all the way to your take profit? Right? What's the possibility that price will travel all the way to your take profits? Right? So that's why you also now need to now calculate and give it, like, from your intuition, you could tell on an average fundamental move price at least 100 pip, right? Currencies might not move so much. Currencies might move maybe 50 pip or thereabout. So since I'm trading on currency, I don't think price might actually travel all that, right? So to ensure that price hits your take profit, right, you try and bring your take profit closer and use a better lot size. That's the smartest thing to do. So if I'm going to go in for a buy now, I want price to break above this resistance point. So I'm going in for my buy at price level 190.795, 190.795, 190.795. Have my take profit somewhere around here. And let me calculate how many pip that will be. From year to year is roughly around 82 pip. Don't forget, on an average, we are expecting 100 pip. So if I take 82 pip, I'm not so greedy now. If I take 82 pip, even if I take 50 pip, right? Even if I calculate 50 pip and I say I want to take my profit somewhere around here, even if I take 50 pip and I leave my take profit here, right? It's still a good one, right? It's still a good one. So I can have my take profit at price level 1.91.36, right? Or better still, you use a trailing stop. For those that don't like using take profit, you could also use a trailing stop. So there are multiple scenarios you could actually play out, or multiple scenarios you could actually use, and that will still give you a good effect. So the major thing is having your entry at price level 190.795, 190.795, and have your take profit before the next resistance. So anywhere around there, right, is a good point, right? So you leave your take profit open and close your trade at a good profits margin. Then for alternatively for a sell, because don't forget it's fundamental and it can spin in both directions. So alternatively for a sell is very clear. You could have you have your sell entry below your support zone. I have your sell entry below your support zone. So I'm going to be going in for a sell at price level 189.612. 189.612. 189.612. That'll make my sell stop. Have my take profit at price level 188.910. 188.910. 188.910. So let's quickly look at US 100 and US 2000, and then we call it a day, right? So for US 100, US 2000, most likely you would be expecting a little bit of a quiet market today. You know how stocks does it. It ranges whenever there is a fundamental news coming out and then picks up when the news comes out. So best thing to do is to have your pending orders intact and take advantage of the news when it comes out, except those that are scalping. If you are scalping, you could follow the market move. But if I'm going to go in for US 100, US 2000 rather, if I'm going in for US 2000, I'll go in for a sell. Should price break below this support at so also to reduce the chances of price triggering my entry and then going the opposite direction. So I just want to go when price breaks a more notable support. So at price level 1999.8, 1999.8, I'm going for a sell stop around that point, and then take my profit around 1991.0, 1991.0, 1999. 1991.0. Then alternatively for my buy, price actually hinging on this resistance point. Of course, you're going for a buy. Should price break above that point at a price level 2018.0, 2018.0, 2018.0, have my take profit at 2024.4, 2024.4, 2024.4. So that's my entry for US 2000. And then lastly, US 100. US 100 actually had a very large gap yesterday. We had this major gap up yesterday. So naturally, whenever there is a gap, I expect that price should come down and cover that gap, right? Naturally, when there's a gap, I expect that price should come down and cover that gap. So this is actually a very good opportunity you could look into, right? So you could time price or put in a pending order expecting that price would cover this gap. It might sell, it might give a little bit of a further buy this morning, but definitely before the end of today, or most likely by tomorrow, we should see price cover up this gap. So in the long term, I say within the week, I expect that US 100 should actually sell to cover up this gap, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pending order in between that gap so that I'm still able to take advantage of it, right? I'm going to put a pending order in between that gap. So if we didn't have any news coming out today, we just most likely would have a price trade technically trying to cover up that gap. But because we have a news coming out, there's every possibility that that news might still in that price from covering that gap if the dollar comes out negative. If the dollar comes out negative, then it would stop this gap from being covered up today. And that would still make a US 100 continue to push up. So what I'll still do is to have my pending order on standby. So whenever price is able to come down and cover that gap, I'll still be able to make money from it. It's just a very simple thing to do. So you have your you could have your sell stop at price level 177.91, 177.91, 177.76 rather. Sorry, 17719.76, 17719.76. I have my sell stop around there, and then put my take profit before the close of the gap. Put my take profit before the close of the gap at price level 17605.42. 17605.42. I have my stop loss around, my take profit around that point. Then alternatively for a buy, right? I'm going for a buy around here. So I'm going for a buy above my resistance point here. So there was a resistance here and a little bit of resistance around here. So if you look closely on the 7th of February, there was two resistance around there, which are very close to each other. So I want to go completely above those 2 points to be sure that price doesn't trigger my entry and then starts going the opposite direction. So I'm going for my buyer price level 17913.73.37 rather. 17913, that's 1791.73, that 17913.37. So I have my entry around that point and then have my take profit. Would have your take profit before the next notable resistance around here at price level 17988.74. 17988.74. 17988.74. All right, so those are the instruments we are going to be treating for the day. So don't forget, most of these classes are just to help you understand the dynamics of this market. If you want to understand how to come up with strategies, most of the strategies are used while coming up with those trade signals. Try and attend most of the advanced classes, right? Advanced classes. And if you're joining our market review for the very first time, if you've not traded before, you might be lost in some of the things we're saying. So try and attend the beginners class. All this class has been put in place to bring you up to expatriate level so that when we're talking during the morning market review, you're not lost, right? I saw a few number of persons left the class. So I'm very certain there are people that are just joining the class for the very first time and they don't understand what we are talking about. To them, is is gibberish. We are speaking all gibberish. So please, if you're joining this class for the very first time and you've not traded before, please attend the beginners class, both physical class or online class, whichever way. So the class schedule, the class rundown is Monday, Tuesday, we have beginners class at our physical office, Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, right? Then Wednesday, Thursday, we have that class come up again. Monday, Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, right? Then for our advanced classes, we have advanced classes on Fridays, and then we have strategy classes from time to time, depending on when those new strategies come up and we want to share. So those informations will be sent across by your account manager. So try as much as possible to follow the updates on our WhatsApp channel, follow our YouTube channel, our Facebook, Instagram, to get updates as to when most of these trainings will be coming up, right? And also, when it comes to trading, capital is very important. Your lot sizing is what determines the profit you make, right? Your lot size determines what you make. So try as much as possible to have good trading capital. And if you're not able to come up with good trading capital, we understand that the country is a little bit tight at the moment, right? Ensure you trade wisely. Trade with lot size that is proportional to your trading account, right? Don't be over greedy, right? Don't be over greedy, and don't overshoot yourself. Trade with lot size that is proportional to your trading account, and I can assure you, you would record good success when it comes to trading, right? So do have a wonderful day. It was nice having you guys. I look forward to having you guys again, right? So have a wonderful day.